In this video, we're going to be going through how to solve a system of equations using substitution. Sometimes this is also known as back substitution. So the first thing that we're going to do is solve one of the equations for one of the variables. Then we're going to substitute that variable into the other equation for the variable that we solved for. Then we're going to solve for the remaining variable, and then plug that into the first equation and solve for the last variable that we need. So let's do an example so we can kind of understand what does this mean and how does it look like. So we're going to solve the system of linear equations using this back substitution, or just substitution. So here we have x minus y equals 0 and 5x minus 3y equals 6. So I'm going to choose to solve for this first equation because it looks a lot simpler. And I'm going to get the y by itself just because I like to get the y by itself. You could have picked the x as well, and that would have been just fine. You'd get the same answer at the very end anyways. So I'm going to solve for y, so I'm going to get the y by itself. So I'm going to begin by subtracting both sides by x to move my x over, and that's going to leave me with a negative y equals negative x. Then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1. That helps to get rid of the negative sign in front of the y. And that's going to leave me with y equals x. So now I've just done step 1. So now I want to take my y equals x and plug that into my equation. So I have 5x minus 3y equals 6. So I'm using the second equation now. And I solved for y and I got an x. So I'm going to replace the y with the x. So now I have 5x minus 3x equals 6. Which is really just a 2x equals 6. So I'm going to solve for this last variable. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and that gives me the x equals 3. Well, I'm going to take that and plug it back into my first equation so I can see what is what is y equal. So I plug it in, y equals 3. So y equals 3. And so now when I set this up as my answer, I'm going to write it as an ordered pair. So I'm going to put the x in the x spot. Remember, so we got x equals 3, and we got y equals 3 as well, because x and y were the same. And then this is our final answer, 3, 3. So if we were to graph these two equations, we would see that they intersect at the point 3, 3. And so this is what we call the solution of our system.